Guys, welcome to our video. This is John Watts, and we're going to talk about debt collectors in this video. And let me give you the context before I show you the question. So I'll go to conferences and I'll meet other lawyers who don't do the type of work that I do, and they'll say, so what do you do during part of your day? And I'll say, well, I sue debt collectors. And they say, well, what law is that? I'll say, that's the FDCPA, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And they'll say, well, what does that law get you? So, well, you can get up to $1,000 in damages, even if you weren't harmed. You can get emotional distress damages, economic damages. You can get attorney's fees. It's a great law. And they say, wait a minute. And here's the question. Why do debt collectors break the law if you can sue them for money damages? And so let's think about this. The simple answer is they make more money breaking the law than obeying the law. But again, when I'm having this conversation, it's like that doesn't make sense. So there's a collector who's collecting a $500 debt. And remember, that collection agency doesn't get all $500. They might get $100 of that. So why would they risk violating the law and getting sued to make $100? And you'll see in videos people talk about, you sue abusive debt collectors for $1,000. That's true. And we've had settlements that are pretty small settlements. They might be $3,000 or $4,000 settlements. But we've also had settlements where debt collectors are stroking a check for six figures, pretty healthy six figure. And so why would they risk getting sued for $10,000 or $50,000 plus having to pay their attorneys and your attorneys? Why would they do that if they're collecting a $500, even a $5,000 debt? It just doesn't make any economic sense. Well, here's the issue. They would lose money. And if they lose money, they'll stop doing it. They would lose money if every consumer that they abused would sue them. I mean, it would instantly become unprofitable. Or if half the consumers that were abused sued the debt collectors, it would be terribly unprofitable. Or even if 1% of consumers that are abused would sue, most debt collectors would say, wow, we've got to change our policy. We are bleeding money here. So that then raises a natural question. Why don't consumers sue? Well, it's a lack of knowledge and then a lack of taking action. And this is true in anything in life, right? So I think I've used this illustration before. Let's go with actually a couple of illustrations. Say I'm sitting in my car in Birmingham, Alabama, and I want to get to Chicago. Well, if I don't know how to get to Chicago, I might be the greatest driver and I can drive 100 miles an hour. But unless I just get lucky, I'm not going to end up in Chicago. So I'm taking action, but I don't have the knowledge. Well, what if I have the knowledge? I say, I know the perfect route to get to Chicago. I can avoid all traffic. I can take back roads if the interstate is backed. I know how to get there perfectly. And I just sit there in my car. I never turn it on. I never step on the accelerator. All that knowledge, it's worthless. Well, we're here toward the end of the year. So most of us make New Year's resolutions, and what's the most common one? Probably it's, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to exercise. Is it really a lack of knowledge? Well, it might be. We might not know how to eat or what to eat or how to exercise. But it may also be we have the knowledge, but we're just not taking the action. So, some of us will go get a personal trainer, or we'll get a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, or we'll join a group where we encourage everybody to, let's take action. Let's exercise today, or let's eat healthy today. And so it's just anything in life. If we're lacking knowledge or if we're lacking action, and certainly if we're lacking both, we're not going to have success. So the solution is we need to discover our rights. In other words, gain the knowledge. What is the law? As a practical matter, what's the law on dealing with debt collectors? When are they violating the law? And then we need to take massive action against every single abusive debt collector that we can. Now, that might mean that you hire a lawyer to sue. It might mean that you write a letter to the collector and offer to settle before you sue. There's all different ways. And I have my views on which are typically most effective. But the point is, do something against that collector if you know your rights and if you know that that collector has broken the law. And that will be just really tremendous in terms of changing this industry so that they will be legitimate in their collection. Nothing wrong with collecting. It's when they get greedy and they will step over that line. That's when they need to be sued. So I mentioned this in our last video. We're going to have some free training. It's absolutely free. And look, if you see stuff on social media, you know, people will say, here's a free webinar. And you go to the webinar, you get to the end of the webinar, and it says, you know, and everything that I'm going to teach you, it's $8,997. But today only, if you act right now, it's $497. That's not what I'm talking about here. This is a completely free training. That's all it is. It's totally free. And it'll be within a membership site just so that it'll be easy and organized. So you have all the training modules, the worksheets, the PDF or Word documents, all that sort of stuff. So that'll be sometime in January. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Keep an eye on our channel and we'll release that. If you're on my email list, I'll also let you know about it. And you know, the title of the training is How to Stop Greedy Collectors. Now, I suppose somebody could go, well, John, you know, you can be greedy and still follow law. Well, that's true. So when I say greedy collectors, I mean collectors that are willing to be abusive and lie and be unfair and violate the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA. So if you're interested in that, just subscribe. You can also drop a comment in and say, hey, I'm interested in this. And, you know, I think it'll be a really good experience for you to go through if you're really wanting to learn more about your rights and if you're committed to taking action. I think you'll get a lot of benefit out of it. Now, if you don't want to know more about it, and that's totally fine. You know, some people say, hey, I get a collection letter, I get a collection call, the collector appears on my credit report, I get sued by a collector, and I just call a consumer protection attorney. Hey, we get those every day. That's fine. I'm doing this for those of you who are interested in knowing how to figure this out on your own. And then ultimately, whether you hire an attorney, whether you go after the collector on your own, that's your choice. And you can weigh the pros and cons of that. So thanks for watching this video. If you have questions, comments, put those below. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.